listeners, welcome back. If you are just joining us, we are live from the studios of Garkuwa FM 95.5 megahertz, and we are onto a special program today with the KEDCO company. We have the area manager, Sokoto South, in person of Ahmad Mustafa Muhammad. And sir, I would like to ask you, what are some of the effects of not paying bills on time?
Good afternoon, listeners. We want to give glory to Almighty Allah for making us to be in the studio in order to enlighten our customers on our processes, performance, and in the area of electricity distribution business. As a company, we, Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, we are responsible for selling the electricity in megawatt to the household of the entire Sokoto State people.
Yes.
Like you asked the question, though it's supposed to be in the process of our interview, but let me just quickly, because the effects of non-paying electricity, it has adverse effect to our business. As we are aware, we are a company, and we have been metered, and most of this energy that we are distributed are metered, and we confirm that we have consumed that, which we have to settle the bills. And doing setting the bills are in billions, not in millions. At the end of the day, the return on investments is not encouraging. So this effect of non-paying has really affected us seriously. And that is why we have been underperforming for the last period of years or days that the business is going on. So I want to oblige or call the attention of the end users of electricity, that paying electricity is an obligation, it's a right, it's a civil responsibility, because we have supplied you this electricity and you need to commensurate by paying such services that we render to you. Electricity, people have viewed it as just a mere national cake. No, it is a business. You know, we have 11 distribution companies in this country, and each and every one is being operated in different manner. So definitely, paying electricity is very, very important, and I believe customers will appreciate that and make sure that they are paying their bills regularly so that we can be able to get more electricity and transmit to their household so that they can enjoy it as a social services.
Okay, sir, whose responsibility is it to ensure that there is steady power supply in the community?
You know, the environment, the ecosystem is very vast. You know, customers, or let me say household, understand that they only know distribution company responsible for electricity. But electricity has a processes. Let me just say it has an institutions, or let me just say an industry called Nigerian Electricity Supply Industry. It's very vast. But you know, sometimes electricity has to be generated.
Yes.
There's a company generating this electricity, and it requires a lot of investment for them to get it right.
Yes.
We have two sources of getting electricity, generate electricity. We have what we call hydro, and we have what we call thermal stations. Hydro is the use of water to generate electricity, and the thermal station is to use gas, you understand, to generate electricity. And we use almost 70 to 60% of the thermal station to generate electricity. And you know, the issue of gas is a problem in this country. And most of these lack of supply that we're experiencing is a lack of generations. And again, we have transmission company who are transmitting, evacuating this energy after generated. There's another company in the process called transmission processes. These are the people that are going to transit the electricity, because you cannot store it. So you have to take it away. It's just like a year. So what we do is that at this transmission ends also, there are a lot of responsibility. This company is owned, or let me say, this particular process is owned by federal government. And they have making a lot of investment. And when they evacuate this electricity, they put it in our transformers, ranging from 33 kV to 11 kV. Then from there, we now transmit it to the household, industries, and the rest. So if you look at these processes now, generation, there's a lot of costs which need to be compared. And each of the megawatts generated has to be valued in Naira value. Then again, we have transmission, which they have to evacuate in their own infrastructures, also to transmit this electricity to the distribution end. And then distribution end through your own transformer in your respected area, we put in the energy there in order to transmit into your respective houses. So each of these processes is being weighed in terms of Naira value. At the end of the day, we are expected to collect 100% of that energy, transmit back to transmission, then transmission back to generation. So that is the processes that how it is. So in these processes, I cannot answer that maybe who is responsible for the steady supply, because you cannot be specific in terms of electricity industry, because it's unstable. Sometimes you may express technical issues, you may express commercial issues, you may experience a lot of issues that may be hinder. So when you make a promise that you can ensure steady supply in that aspect, we need to get it right.
Okay. So, sir, do you think lack of stability is what results customers frowning at not paying their bills?
Well, we can say it is a factor, but that is not a factor. In our billing system or in our business, we have what is called MD customers. We have non-MD customers, and we have prepaid customers. MD customers are maximum demand customers, small industries, like your own organizations here. We look at you as an MD customer because you have your own transformer, which is feeding only this organization. And then we have non-MD customers. This non-MD customer, and then this MD customer normally come and pick their reading every month to ensure what they have consumed in the month has been billed like that. The non-MD customers are the respective household customers. That non-MD is a postpaid, meaning you have to enjoy the electricity before you pay it. So people don't understand. It's a credit. Like now we're in the month of July.
Yes.
What we are asking, we are collecting money in July. But what we are asking for, it is the consumption you made in June that you should pay in July. What you have consumed in this July has not been calculated because it's not up to the end of the month. So we cannot ask you to pay for July because we don't ascertain what is the kilowatt you consume. It has to be in August. We asked you to pay for July. So people resisting lack of non-payment is not unrealistic. Does not mean that you don't supply the electricity. We may have a problem this month. We may not have a problem last month. So therefore, people should not judge based on the availability of the electricity before they decided on whether to pay or not. No, they should understand that it's a postpaid. They have consumed this energy before we bill them. So whatever, whether it's electricity or not, we are expecting you to pay what you have consumed for last month.
Okay, we have in the studio Aliyu Saidu, who is the area manager at Sokoto Central, and he just joined us. Before you came, we have been discussing on issues surrounding the effect of not paying bills on time. So our customers need to also understand something, or rather our listeners. Is there also an issue surrounding collection of receipts from you?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. And I'm very sorry for late coming because I have to pray before coming in. As earlier said by my colleague, and based on the point you have raised, yes, we do encounter issues and challenges. Some customers complaining of non-issuance of receipt after payment, and I earlier expatiated during the morning program that customers should, in case they have such problem of our marketers or anybody collecting their money, they should do everything possible to, number one, identify the person, know his name if he's Kaduna Electric staff, and call our numbers, which we have gave in the morning, and I can still repeat same number, 070-334-33829. Try to identify the person if he's an SR or anybody. Make sure whatever amount you pay, you receive your receipt instantly, right away. If there is a problem, they collected your money and there is a delay in giving the receipt, please don't hesitate to please call that number as mentioned earlier. So these are some of the issues we are calling on our customer to please liaise with us whenever they have such problem.
All right. So sir, can you tell us about maybe what cap or capping order is, and in the new customer billing system or methodology, what that means?
All right, back to your question, capping order. Capping order is an order by Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commissions directed the 11 discos to bill their customers on a certain capping order ceiling. And the essence of this capping is to protect the interest of the customer, to eradicate or to at least reduce the complaints of our billing, and also to look at the relationship of a customer complaint in the area of estimated billing methodology. So in this aspect, let me just quickly enlighten our customers that where do we get this capping order? Because this capping order has been in existence for Kaduna Electric since 2020. It is in an order where we are asked to bill our customer on a certain level of the kilowatt allocated to them. It comes into being because of the huge complaint across the country in the area of non-meter customers. That is, customers are complaining that they are enjoying supply, but their meters they don't have meter that can give them the actual consumptions for the month. So what we normally do is that we estimated them, and they assume we are giving them a high billing. So now, this is part of the regulations where they collect all these informations, and they decided to say, okay, let them come with the best way that will make everything okay between the distribution company and also the customer, that this kind of complaint should not be happen. So what happened is that they make a comparison with prepaid customers. That is the people that are using prepaid customers. What are they consuming in a month? You understand, to make a comparison in every angle. So each distribution company were asked to submit the whole entire customer base of the PPM, alongside with the vending system. That is, vending is just to buy the card. That is the language we use as vending system. So going by this analysis, they come up with a situation whereby they discover that across distributions company, across feeders and other variables, some PPM customers in a month cannot consume an average, or at least not more than this so amount of a kilowatt hour. Like, for example, like Institute, 11 kV Institute, have been capped as 161 kilowatt hour, meaning we cannot bill any customer as far as postpaid is concerned above that particular 161. So at the end of the day, look at it that, okay, if PPM cannot consume 161 kilowatt in a month, so ideally, a customer in postpaid should not be billed above that particular ceiling order. So now what they do is that the average that distribution company can bill a customer, it is this particular amount in kilowatt hour, and customer is expected to pay 100%. Reason is to protect the interest of the customer in the area of complaining of overbilling. And also in return, in this capping order, customers are expected to pay 100% of the energy billed. That is to say, this capping order, if customers cannot maintain what they are paying before, because one of these advantages of this capping order is for them to reduce their debt. For example, somebody is paying 10,000 naira, and now he's being billed by 4,000 naira. So if you continue paying this 10,000 naira, at least part of the debt, you are reducing 6,000 naira. But some customer will say, no, this is what you bring for me, and this is what I'm going to pay you back. Yeah, but they should know that it is a window. And once this window is over, at least we'll go back to normal. And at that time, nobody can complain that maybe his grievances have not been answered. So at least these are little introductions to the capping system.
So, sorry, please let me just add to what my colleague has said.
Okay.
In a simple term, the issue of capping is just like subsidy in the petroleum industry, isn't it? As a government, part of its key responsibility is to make life easier for its citizen. So, like in the petroleum industry, if the cost of producing, a liter of oil, for example, is 10 naira, as a government can decide to say, okay, let's buy at 10 naira. We sell to our citizen at 6 naira. By doing so, it subsidizes the 10 naira actual cost of production of a liter of oil. Same thing applicable here in the electricity industry. The issue of capping in a layman language is just like a subsidy. Actually, we have what we call cost reflective tariff. That is, let us bill customers based on the real, cost of producing a kilowatt of electricity. And if such is being done, actually customers are going to find it very difficult to, pay their bills because it is going to be very expensive. So in trying to ease the cost of living and provide an enabling environment for Nigerians, the SMEs and so on, the issue of capping came into being.
Okay.
That is what we are doing on the issue of capping.
Mala Ahmad, when you were talking, you mentioned that for the time being, the people enjoy this capping. So does that mean that it is here for a limited time?
Yes, I can say yes. Because the issue of this capping is because we don't have available meter. Okay. Supposing that we are running this order is in vain because we should be able to, for the period of time, there is a period given to us that we should meter these customers. At least, if not 100%, we should be able to bridge the gap. So there we have two ways. We have a meter asset provider where you can procure your meter. At the end of the day, you will be compensated back after regulations or after calculating the actual unit that is supposed to be the payback. And again, in this aspect of this capping that we are talking about also, it is an issue that people should understand. That now, this window that we give to them, once we embark on national mass metering, which the phase 0 has already been elapsed, we are now into phase 1. So once this phase 1 is okay, there is a certain amount of meter that will be allocated to distribution company. So distribution company will look at the areas where they can meter this customer in order to get back their 100% energy received. So this window, I can say it's a window because once we meter the customer, because if we don't have an issue of meter, to say all customers are metered, this issue of capping will not come over.
Yes.
And the issue of saying that overbill will not come over is because there are discrepancies between metering the customers and also giving them the bill. Maybe they are challenging it. So therefore, this particular capping cannot be permanent. It has a certain window that will be elapsed.
Okay, thank you. Mala Ali, over the years we have heard about vandalism. So what are the dangers surrounding it?
Thank you. The issue of vandalism, in a simple way of understanding for the sake of the listeners, is a stealing. We have a lot of electricity equipment like transformers, the armor cable, all over the state. And those investment are a huge investment made by the government, made by the company, and also the state government itself. We have to commend the effort of the state governor. He has done a lot of work financially to ensure they support Kaduna Electric Distribution Company in giving out transformers for its citizens to make life easier for Sokoto State citizens. Vandalism is a serious case. We have a lot of such cases all over the state, especially now that the supply has a little bit dropped down. So those guys, the irresponsible guys, around the state and community, are using the time when we are all shedding on some of our feeders. They targeted when some feeders or line, are off, then they use it, in a very short time to either lose our transformer oil and remove it, which is very expensive in the market, or the armored cable, which is also very expensive. So they use those time when they know there is shortage of supply to steal or to vandalize our equipment, which is very, very bad. And we are calling on our customers, especially the citizens within the metropolis, to please watch out, put a lot of vigilante around, their distribution transformers. It is our responsibility, and it is also their own responsibility, because if those, equipment are being, damaged or steal by those guys, it is going to affect them before us. For us to even fix a transformer when it comes to those armor cable, it is going to cost us much. Okay. And due to the scarce of resources, sometimes we may have like 3 or 4, vandalism within the month. And to fix them back, it will cost us millions. Okay. And due to the scarce of resources, some customers will tend to, spend weeks before they can get their, transformers back to circuit.
Okay, so KEDCO as a company, does it see or view the issue of vandalism in the same line with energy theft?
Yeah, actually, stealing is stealing. Exactly. Stealing, whatever names you give it, is English. Stealing is stealing. If I keep something, you take it away, and it's not a lawful thing to. It's a stealing. Just like corruption in the government terms, they call it corruption, but it's stealing actually. Right. So the issue of, bypassing of energy or bypassing a meter, in a smart way of, stealing the energy and vandalism is almost the same thing. And we are calling on our customers to please be very careful and mindful of touching their meters after installation, because we have a serious and very smart enforcement team all over, the area offices. They are going around. So if anybody found one thing of stealing our energy, we are going to backbill that customer, and he must pay. And now company is paying everything possible to start prosecuting.
Okay, we'll talk about this after the break, because we are ahead of time. After the break, we'll open our phone lines for the listeners to call and ask questions, and also talk more about the issue of energy theft.